Yeah, again, thanks so much for the call. Yeah, I really appreciate it. So, would you mind just sharing a little bit about who you are and what you do in terms of entrepreneurship area?
Yeah, sure. So I started my sort of entrepreneurship probably over 30 years ago.
Wow.
Probably early when I was in my early teens, and always felt that I wanted to be doing something, creative, or something that where it was helping people, or it was something that I was just enjoying doing, and I always loved change and a challenge. So, I pretty much chose the life of an entrepreneur and the education process of an entrepreneur as well. So, 30 years later, I've pretty much been involved with or worked with, probably starting over 100 different companies around the world. So,
Wow.
things from publishing and media to some of the first internet companies I was involved with in the early 90s to publishing magazines and newspapers to being both in print and online to internet marketing systems to payment organizations to all different types of things, nightclubs,
How many
bars,
of these
restaurants.
are still existing?
Well, today there was some of the businesses that I passed on to others or sold to others or different things. So, I don't know. I don't really count which ones, but there's definitely plenty of the companies that were started and stuff for that that are still operating and still moving along.
Mm-hmm.
Today, myself, I run a network of probably, or involved with a network of probably 20 companies today.
Wow.
So, um, and those range in operations from Eastern Europe to European market, UK, Canada, United
Interesting.
States, and the Caribbean to various markets, including Panama and other spaces too. So, I'm actively involved with lots of different projects and lots of different entities, and as we build those things, it's always exciting to see what happens with either the partners that I'm involved with or the individuals or groups that I'm involved with.
That's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that. And then in terms of like, have you ever worked in the MENA region, North Africa region? Like, have did you start any companies here in this region before, particularly as because I'm based in Caribe, so I'm curious just to know if you ever.
Yeah, I previously I had some. Unfortunately, it was difficult lessons and stuff, but I did start a business in Ghana in the past, and unfortunately for myself, but the challenges I had in the region just had to do with a number of different elements, mostly due to sort of the individuals or partners or people that I somehow got involved with in the market in the region down there, but. Other than that, I haven't had too much experience in the African
Hmm.
market. It hasn't necessarily after that experience hasn't necessarily been a big sort of
I see.
goal of mine to be
Yeah.
back there, but
Hmm.
definitely I know other friends and associates and colleagues who operate out of South Africa and other regions. So I know people have definitely had great success, but I myself haven't
You
looked
haven't had
at.
a good experience, yeah. Unfortunate.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I can see it. I see. It. See, and in terms of like, do you mentor entrepreneurs? Do you invest in startups? Like, if someone is listening to this and they got an idea, I'm just asking if you're willing to mentor or invest in startups.
yeah. Well, I mean, I am today involved with as an advisor slash mentor to a number of entrepreneurs. So it's something that I enjoy doing and participating with, and if I can lead or lend a hand or provide insight or at least be there to listen and to provide some insight
Hmm.
or ask questions that may not be being asked. It's something that I really personally enjoy doing. So yes, I'm definitely open to that. Investing in projects, it is something that I have done and I do once in a while. It's not something that it's a big objective of mine to be involved with, but
Mm-hmm.
if it's the right entrepreneur and the right opportunity, then definitely
Mm-hmm.
consider it.
Awesome, awesome. And then what kind of characters of personalities do you love to work with when it comes to entrepreneurship? Like if you mentor someone, what kind of characters do you love to see in their personalities?
Yeah, you know, personalities are challenging in any life, right? So my preference to work with individuals or people or teams or groups are the people that they have a great idea, they have passion, they have a lot of interest, and they're dedicated to making something work. And so when they say they're going to do something, they do it to the best of their abilities and ask questions, um, and seek assistance and help when they don't necessarily know it, or they think that they can learn from the mistakes that they're going to make, but take in the consideration of what other people are giving them guidance on or helping them with. So I think mostly the kind of character is the kind of person who listens and is open to learning, and also somebody who does what they say they're going to do.
Yeah, and then when I check your profile on LinkedIn, most of the experiences or the companies I would say that you've launched before, it's between like fintech, payments, crowdfunding, blockchain. If this is an area you'd love to kind of help entrepreneurs in or to invest in, or there are some other areas or industries that you would love to explore and discover as well on the
Yeah. Well, my LinkedIn is really sort of targeted towards a certain industry at the moment. So outside of what I post publicly on LinkedIn, I'm also involved with a lot of other projects. So it's not just fintech. There is definitely um, a leaning towards that industry from
Mhm.
fintech and payments, and but outside of that, I mean, I'm involved with many different types of organizations and work with people in all different sorts. So I don't think that it's something that it's specifically a requirement to be in that industry.
Awesome, awesome. And then from your experience in entrepreneurship, what is the one thing in your personality that helped you, I would say, to reach where you are right now? Maybe being persistent or visionary. Like, what is the one thing, one character in your personality that you think it helped you a lot during your entrepreneurship journey?
Well, I don't think there's necessarily one specific thing. However, I would say that the openness to change is critical, and I think that the determination to keep going. So no matter what happens, that those two elements I think are critical.
Hmm. And then any obstacles have faced you when it comes to infrastructure, like running, maybe restrictions when it comes to legal restrictions or where you are based, a country restrictions for whatever idea you might have. Could be because of blockchain, for instance. I've heard a lot about it. Some countries don't prefer to use it. Some countries use wrong. Just give me a little bit of thoughts about that, if you have any.
Well, I think that's where a big part of what my last answer is that the openness to change, right?
Mm,
So, for example, if there's something that you really want to be doing and accomplishing in life, there should be an openness and an understanding that you may need to change other things in your life to accomplish that. So, as an example, if you're looking at regulations in a specific market on a specific type of business you're wanting to do, you may need to find the appropriate spot to do it, especially if you're passionate or interested and open to being a part of that industry or that space. So, if you mentioned blockchain, for example, blockchain itself is can be perhaps misunderstood in certain jurisdictions, and if you want to participate in that business and be doing that in your market, you may need to consider taking a part of your focus and being an educator and being a person who informs and provides the education and helps
Yeah.
change
Hmm.
the perception of what it is that you're looking to do. So there's and that could turn into a whole new business in itself as well, right? So as an entrepreneur, I think that the opportunity is to be a leader and to be your own director that helps you direct and guide what's going to happen and where you're going to take that business or that your life.
Hmm.
So I think those are key factors.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. And when it comes to as far as I see, you're actively involved in different companies, I would say. And how do you do that type of management, time management? And I mean, it's any suggestion, advice, something you can share with other entrepreneurs.
Well, I think there's a work life balance. I think it's important for some people. I myself tend to ensure or require myself to have a very strict calendar and note program so that I ensure that my schedule is always accurate and that I fulfill my obligations to attending events and participate with calendars and stick to the timelines within those areas. Because if you don't, I think things can tend to be sort of extended, or that if you don't show up for different events or different meetings or different conversations, then you're going to either miss out on the opportunities that are present, or you're going to have a sort of an understanding to yourself that it's just not important to meet your own timelines. So I
Hmm.
think if you follow your own timelines and follow your own schedules that you book and be um,
Committed to it, I would say.
committed to it,
Yeah, yeah.
exactly, then that's going to be critical for you. And to take notes of all the things you're doing, to write them down as you're discussing or speaking or hearing something,
Mm-hmm.
because that's the foundation of what you're actually going to learn from. And as you write it down, you put that energy into real life.
True. True. And then, what is your preference? Do you like to work with um, an idea, like a pioneer idea that no one hasn't touched before, or do you like this franchise model, like you're taking something that is already made and then you just duplicate it and take advantage of the system that has existed already?
Well, I think those are different kinds of people in certain
Sure.
ways. So as an example, taking an idea and being creative with it and finding a solution is a problem solver, right? It's the kind of personality that says, "Hey, I see this problem and I want to find a solution to solve that problem," right? And then you have uh, a different personality where they don't necessarily want to fix the problem or solve the problem. They just want to provide the solution, right? So the providing the solution is the franchise type model where somebody's created the solution and now allowing an individual to follow a specific process
Mm-hmm.
and follow a specific method just to provide that solution to their clients. So they're very different personalities. Not
Sure.
that they're not both entrepreneurs, right? Because
Mm-hmm.
an entrepreneur who wants to facilitate and follow that same process is the idea of the McDonald's, right?
Mm-hmm.
The person who starts an organization like that and builds it and runs it and hires staff and has to go through all the process of being an entrepreneur is still an entrepreneur.
True.
But the person who finds that there's a problem in the world and finds a solution to fix that problem and provide that solution to the world or to a group or to an audience is just a different type of entrepreneur. It's a different type of personality.
True. Yeah. I see. And what do you see? What do you say to um, a 19 years old guy who doesn't want to go, like he graduated from high school, doesn't want to go to college, and he is interested in starting a company or maybe go into e-commerce or want to do a drop shipping or want to do an e-commerce, and he doesn't want to just to go to college. Do you think um, this is the right thing to do at that time, or do you think that education at college is important, work experience is important, go get some experience and work and communicate with the people is important before you start and run and change the world, I would say.
Well, I mean, I
Because I've
guess
seen
I
these
guess
examples a
as
lot, and that's why I'm
yeah,
asking.
I guess that's it's a challenging question, a challenging answer to put that. So, as an example, I myself didn't go to college. I put myself through an entrepreneur career, entrepreneur lessons, and entrepreneur university, and that those were hard lessons to learn through processes of different things. I also gained tremendous experience that I wouldn't have never gained by going to school or going to a college.
Well,
So, not to dismay what a university degree or college degree might provide to somebody. And I've known in my life people have gone to school for 8, 10 plus years and continue down their education process, and they're intellectually intelligent and they've learned a lot from the process, but they've just learned different lessons than say somebody who also got work experience and or also started a business.
hmm
So if you look at I guess the opportunity that's at hand, you have to consider what your opportunities are as an entrepreneur or as an individual who's looking at, do they go to that school because they can afford to go to the school and
hmm
not have to work, or is it a requirement for them to have to work and to earn their own money and also put themselves through school, or is the opportunity for them just to focus 100% on their business and their idea and really focus on that business to give themselves their own experience as well
hmm
as earn income as well. So I think it's really dependent on the circumstance that somebody's in.
Sure.
If you're 18, 19 years old and you're right out of school like I was, um,
But the
I
time is
would
different now.
yeah. I mean, but I was in a position that wasn't able to afford to go to school and or be able to, do things. So I had to find my own methods and my own ways to survive, and that included finding methods of creating income, and that was everything from some of the first things I ever did, which was, you know. Installing peoples in people's doors to
Yeah.
go to door knocking on people's people to sell frozen food or do different things like that were creating my own sort of opportunities. They weren't solving great problems, but they were solving my problems at the time. So the next stage was to get myself into the position to be able to create new opportunities, and that's just dependent on where somebody's at, I think.
Sure. And it depends on the circumstances you mentioned. True. And then
Absolutely.
what do you think about like those new type of businesses that are booming right now, which is drop shipping and type of fast cash type of business? Like I go and I create a website, I sell products that is not mine, boom, and I make 10K monthly. What do you think about that?
Well, I mean, I think they're great opportunities. The distribution of products
Is
and the
this a
method of that
sustainable
has
business?
changed. Yeah, it's changed tremendously, right? So, as an example, many people used to talk negatively about multi-level marketing companies that would say, "Hey, I want you to go and sell these products and services and things like that we're marketing as a group." Well, the person behind that group just changed the distribution method rather than going to a wholesaler and a distributor to a retailer to the end consumer. So if you can find a method of changing the distribution method and eliminate all the middlemen, it creates a great opportunity for you. So in today's world, if you are using the influencer marketing space, right, and you can become an influencer and direct products and services to be sold to your audience, that's a whole industry in itself, right? So you don't even need to be the seller per se or the supplier per se. You can simply be the influencer that and enables somebody to take action, and or you're creating an e-commerce website and catapult yourself through Amazon or through selling opportunities. It's tremendous opportunities for somebody who has the idea and the drive, the motivation, and the commitment to actually making that happen. Just because you launch a website doesn't mean you're gonna sell anything.
True, true. Yeah, there are a lot of things actually you have to do, but I'm just saying this because it's very booming. Like everyone is like quitting their job and they go and start a website and try to sell uh, product they've seen others are selling it anyway. But that's I was just curious to know your feedback about it, guys. And then one more last question: when do you think, if I have an idea, when do you think like what is your insight about that actually? When do if I have an idea and when do I know it's the right time to launch it? Like because I know some friends who have great ideas and then they keep waiting until the good opportunity comes in or the good time comes in. Because specifically in the MENA region, North Africa region, economically and um, politically, there are many different instabilities. So people kind of, you know, hesitating most of the time between should I launch it now? Should I wait? Should I take it the next step? Should I wait? Should I quit my job and focus, or should I wait? What is your insight about that?
Well, my feeling is goes back to our initial topics is you should do it as soon as you're committed to making it work or committed to doing what's necessary to make it work. So I think the challenge that I've found in many years of looking and talking to entrepreneurs or potential entrepreneurs or people who have jobs that have great ideas is they talk about it, and all they do is talk about it. So they weren't ready to actually do it. They have a great idea, but they weren't willing to take the step forward to make it work or to try and make it work. Because if you don't try, you're never going to make it work. And it
Sure.
may be the wrong time because it doesn't work out. It may be that you gave up right before the next turn, which was the turn that was going to make it work. And I think that if an individual is committed to making it work, they'll make it work. And it may not be exactly the way they thought it was going to be or the turnout the way it was supposed to be, but the lessons they learn from it will be incredible. It'll give them the opportunity to learn that lesson and or create a great opportunity and or show others that they're committed to doing what they said they're going to do.
Sure, sure. Um, Thanks so much, Jackson, for that, and appreciate your time. And if anyone is interested in like sharing an idea with you and get your feedback about it, like what is the best way to communicate with you? LinkedIn, for instance, or do you
Yeah,
have a?
usually LinkedIn is the best way. It's fairly it's a good spot for me to stay in contact and
Absolutely.
relate to people and be able to share to other people that I'm connected to. I have a very large network in LinkedIn, and if there's somebody that I believe that is suitable for somebody else or to help somebody, I tend to be a great connector in that space.
Awesome, awesome, Jackson. I really appreciate your time. It was my pleasure meeting you today. Please let's keep in touch, and hopefully
Absolutely.
many people will get the benefits out of watching this video. Lots of lessons learned, and I appreciate the time. Thanks so much, and have a lovely day.
All right. Take care, my son. Take care.
Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.